is Jessica with Dining Traveler, and welcome to part 3 of the Dining Traveler cooking series, where we try our favorite recipes from around the world. This time we're actually staying put in one place. We'll be in Puerto Rico, and we are trying some of my favorite holiday recipes. We're shooting on location at La Cosecha, which is a contemporary market celebrating Latin American culture located at the Union Market District here in Washington, D.C. For this episode, we're gonna make Arroz con Dulce, which is one of my favorite Puerto Rican holiday recipes. It's rice pudding, Puerto Rican style. And this recipe comes from my Tía Juanin, who's now 90 years old, and she's also my madrina, godmother. And she walked me through the recipe step by step, so I can't wait to share it with you. Also, we're gonna have a cafecito with a very special guest, and we're gonna talk about some new initiatives that we're doing together for an organization that's very near and dear to my heart. Let's get started with the ingredients. First, arroz, rice, very important. You want to let it soak for at least 3 hours. It will soften the rice. It will make for a better texture. Then we have our spices. You guys know I love my cinnamon, ginger, lots of cloves, a dash of salt. And then for that nice Caribbean flavor, of course, we have coconut milk and cream of coconut. And I skipped the sugar on this recipe because the cream of coconut is already naturally sweet, and I feel that if I add more sugars, it's gonna be empalagoso. That's just my taste. And some vanilla, raisins, and butter. So we soaked the rice for 3 hours, and now we are gonna drain it and give it a quick rinse. We rinsed the rice, 2 cups of rice to be exact, and put it aside. And now in a caldero, in a heavy saucepan, you're gonna do 4 cups of water, and you're gonna add the spices and bring it to the boil so all those spices come together and those scents and flavors really come through. For the spices, I add around 1.5 to 2 inches of ginger. I really love that fresh ginger taste. 3 to 4 sticks of cinnamon, and around 5 cloves, and a little dash of salt. So the water came to a boil, and it smells amazing, very fragrant with all the spices for around 10 minutes. So now we're just scooping out the spices so we can put in the rice. And just a little tip, do not get rid of the cinnamon sticks quite yet, because you can use them for the garnish. Now that we removed the spices, we're gonna add the rice. So the rice is cooking at medium heat with the liquid, and we're gonna leave it there around 10 minutes. Basically, you just wanna make sure that the rice absorbs all the liquid so we can get to our next step. In this case, we're using medium grain rice. I find it a bit easier to work with, especially with sweet dishes. And actually I use sushi rice, and I love the way it comes out. So the rice has absorbed all the liquid, and now we're gonna add the cream of coconut and the coconut milk. So I'm now gonna cover it. It's probably gonna cook for around 20 minutes, but what I'm gonna do is, like, every 5 to 7 minutes, I'm gonna check on it, give it a little stir so it doesn't clump up. Now the rice has been cooking for a little bit, and it's absorbed most of the liquid, so it's been around like 15-20 minutes. And when there's a little bit left, now we want to add the raisins so they can just cook a little bit with it, the vanilla and the butter. If you want to keep the Arroz con Dulce vegan, you can also use plant-based butter instead of regular butter. The Arroz con Dulce is done, so I like to put it in a plate, kind of use a spoon or spatula to mold it into a nice little circle, sprinkle it with some cinnamon, and add a cinnamon stick on top for the last garnish. And now let's go and meet our special guest. Now we're having cafecito with a very special guest, Angelique Sina, the president of Friends from Puerto Rico. We're gonna have a little coffee and our Arroz con Dulce, and she's gonna talk a little bit about what they're doing with Friends of Puerto Rico and Café Ama.
Jessica, we're so excited to be with you and to have our Café Ama present. You're one of our most important volunteers and mentors to the program. And as you said, we have our program Seeds, and what we intend to do with this youth entrepreneurship program is to develop the mindset of youth living in Puerto Rico to become entrepreneurs and leaders. And they do that learning through our delicious coffee. And that's why the coffee is special, because it allows for the kids not only to learn, but also to raise the funds that they need to start their small business.
And I've seen them in action. I was in Puerto Rico last year and I saw them selling coffee, and it just builds their confidence and it just makes them think outside the box. I really love what you guys are doing. And as a matter of fact, we're doing a Dining Traveler Scholarship where we're pledging 2 scholarships of $500, one through one of our partners and one through the sales of the Dining Traveler Guide to Puerto Rico. So I'm super excited to see who the winners are going to be and what they're going to do with that scholarship.
Yes, we love seeing them interact with people, and that's why the program is so important. And we call the program Seeds, because what we intend is to plant the seed in them that they can do anything. And because coffee is so normal in our household, it's a very good tool for them to understand what is pricing, how do I get a no, how do I make a sale, and how do I generate funds to open my business. And we love when people like you say, you know what, I want to meet the kids, I want to visit them, and I also want to share about the coffee and the love blend, which is what we're going to taste today.
So let's talk a little bit about Café Ama. So we have our Arroz con Dulce, and we're getting ready to have it with a little bit of coffee, and you grow it in Puerto Rico. And what is the whole process behind it?
Yes, the coffee is from Puerto Rico, from San Sebastián. That's where they roast it. Our first seeds came from Las Marias, which is this beautiful town in rural Puerto Rico. And we have a partner that packs the items for us, and then part of the program, the kids sell coffee, kind of like how Girl Scouts sell the cookies. They sell a local product, and then they keep the funds to open their business.
And when you say the kids sell the coffee, but then also people, like if you're here in Washington, D.C. or anybody anywhere else in the States, you can purchase it online, right?
Yes, you can go to cafeama.com. You can purchase for your whole family. Now it's a holiday season, and every cup that you drink is supporting a youth in Puerto Rico to be able to make his dream come to life, which what can be more beautiful than that?
And coffee for Christmas. I love the idea. I talked about it before in the series about giving edible gifts. I think is less waste. It's something that comes from the heart, and also coffee is for a good cause. So make sure you guys check out Friends of Puerto Rico, Café Ama, and get some coffee. Yeah, now you have to try the
Yes, I love the with the arrocito.
And we made it Puerto Rican style. We warmed up a little evaporated milk, como nuestras abuelitas hacían antes, like our grandmothers used to make. Now the moment of truth. Está bueno.
Rico. It's very smooth and not too sweet. It's delicious.
So this is how we make Arroz con Dulce at Casa Dining Traveler. Big thanks to my Tía Juanin, my aunt, for sharing this recipe with us. And also thanks to La Cosecha for allowing us to use this gorgeous space. And thank you to Angelique Sina and Friends of Puerto Rico for sharing their delicious cafecito with us. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave them in the comments. And again, thank you, gracias. And now to have more dessert. Adios.